Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Container Simplified, and in this video what we will see is how can we easily dockerize a fast API application. So fast API is a Python framework to build APIs. So what we will do is we will use Docker provided tools, which is a Docker init, to generate a Docker file, and then how we can further customize that Docker file to Dockerize our application, and then I will run it as a Docker container as well and access the application in a web browser. So yeah, let's start. So I'll first show you the basic fast API application. There are few endpoints I have just to add images like a Docker image is in memory. I will be using, so there is no database. But yeah, there are four endpoints I have to get all the images. It's not important. The purpose is just another any CRUD based API, and we will then use Docker provided tools to Dockerize it. Okay, so now let me run Docker init command. So this will initialize, like it will ask a few questions like what kind of application is it, because it's a Python based application, so we will just select a Python. But if you have a Node, Rust, ASP.NET, you see all the options. Just select what kind of application it is. Now we will select the Python version. I'll just keep it as default because I don't have any hard dependency as long as it's Python 3. And my application, I'll run it on port 8000. So you can just select the port you have. So all these data will be there in the Docker file. You can customize it later as well. Even if you enter the port 5000, you can still go and edit in the Docker file. So these values will be used to generate that or populate that Docker file. So I'll just select the command which will run my application as uvcon, and the name of the file and the app, also the host where I want to run as a 0.0.0, like all the ports it can all the interfaces it can listen to. And yeah, it created that Docker file. If you see, it created 4 files: Docker ignore, Docker file, Docker compose, and readme file. So and now I'll open the Docker file in my Visual Studio Code, and I can just get rid of some commands for now just to make it more clear. So if you see the Python version we selected, it is just set as an environment, as an argument. It is passed to the Docker file, and the corresponding Docker file, a Docker image, Python, and the version which we selected, slim version of that image, is pulled from a Docker Hub. And yeah, I'll go to Docker Hub and I show you. So yeah, let's go to Docker Hub, Python tags, and we can easily search that tag. It's just I want to show you how that information is used. So we just enter that tag 3.12.3, and let's copy there in that tags list. And yeah, that's the image that would be pulled by that when we build that Docker image. Yeah, so and it's a AMD 64. Doesn't matter. The machine where I'm going to build it, it will pull the correct image for that architecture of the machine. So it doesn't matter to us. So then you see there are a couple of environment variables: Python write bytecode and Python buffered. So those are set. So this is all provided by this Docker init command. I haven't added anything. So for that environment, like this is for Python, this is already, they have done the groundwork for you. What we have to do is just copy our application file and then just build the application. You see, they selected the work directory. A non-privileged or non-root user is added. We don't have to do anything. They just make it so simple. So they are just adding a user, app user, with no shell access, UID as 1001. So no, like UID is 0, no root user is used. And then we mount the package list requirement.txt file, and that would be used to install the various packages. And we switch the user to app user, and then we copy. So I have just mentioned which is my main app file. So I have only one file, app.py. I just copy to the work directory, which is app folder, and the port which we selected earlier, and the command which we want to run our application. So what I'll do is I'll change command to entry point, because I want my container every time it starts to run this command. So I'll just select UVCon, my application details, and the argument I want to pass, which is the host. And now what I'll do, I'll just build this container image. Okay, let's build this container image using build docker build command. I just give a tag of fast app v1. It's just, you can select whatever you like, and give the path of docker file and the docker context. And there is some issue. Oh, I think we don't have the requirement.txt file. So what I'll do, I'll add a requirement.txt file, and we add our pip package details. So I just need a fast API pip package and a UVCon. So that is it, because I haven't written any unit test for it. Otherwise, we have to add a PyTest or other packages for reports. So let me check the latest version for both the fast API and the UVCon. Okay, so I just copy the version, paste it in my requirement.txt file. Now I add the second dependency I have, UVCon. Again, let me go to the pip and check the version. So I'll just copy the latest one, 0.31.0, and we add it there, and that is it. Let's run the same command again, and hopefully this time it will successfully build our image. And then we can inspect the image as well to see our it's not needed, but I'll still uh, inspect that image, and I can just show you the environment variables. So whatever environment variables we set during the in our Docker file, so those are available both during the image build time, as well as when your container is running. So you can set those environment variables, and those will be available to your image during build, and while that image is running as a container. So yeah, so you can see we have those entry point, all the commands which we are passing when container will start. Also our working directory is there, and that is it. Now we can just run our container and see if we can access our application. So I'll do just run docker run, because it is going to be running as a web server. So I'll run a detach command, so it runs in the background. I just give it a name as fast API, and I publish it to port 8888, because 8000 is already being used on my machine. So you can give any port which is available, And let's give the our image name fast API. uh, I think I gave the wrong name for the image, so I think it was for fast app v1. So small typo error, let's quickly fix it. And looks like it's running. Let me check the logs. So for logs we can just give the container name, which is our fast API, and we can see the app is listening on port 8 8000, which is inside the container, but from our local host we have to give 8888. So I'll go to my local IP127, and you can see the fast API, the Swagger uh, interface is there. So yeah, I don't need to run it, but because their application is running, so that was the. And then you can see there is a docker ignore file, so that is also created for uh, most of the you can say files which you don't want to add to while you are building your Docker image. So you can further add any other kind of files which you don't want to add, and the Docker compose file is there. Again, you can update it with the port you have. Also add a database, for example MongoDB, if you want to just make it a persistent data and use it. So yeah, that's how you can easily Dockerize your Python-based applications using the Docker init. Also, your other kind of, as we saw, there are other Node.js and Java, other kind of easily you can create your Docker files and the corresponding Docker compose and Docker ignore file. And so that is it. I hope this video was useful to you, and I'll come back soon with another interesting video on Docker or Kubernetes. So thank you so much for watching this video on Container Simplified. I hope you will continue watching